Hi there. This is another episode of Treasure Valley NIA Quick Tips. What it is, this podcast I put together because I'm a franchise owner of a network in action. I was number 27 5 years ago. Now we have 140 of us across the United States. Now we're in Canada, South Africa, soon to be in Dubai. It's just people like me that like to get high caliber people together and network and try to help build their businesses. And through that, I meet a lot of really local Treasure Valley high caliber professionals, and I just bring them on the show to share their knowledge with the audience. And today's a perfect example. Friend of mine, introduce yourself.
My name is Ben Egbert, and I work for Realty ONE Group Professionals. Our office is in the Boise area, and we're a national brand or national chain.
Awesome. So what's it mean to be national chain?
So, like your big stores, so we're all over the country. We have Canada,
Oh,
yeah, we're worldwide. So we're all under that Realty ONE Group. Um, so you may see a Realty ONE Group, and then the DBA, like ours is professionals. So Reno is Realty ONE Group Eminence. So
okay.
we're all that Realty ONE Group family.
Oh, that's cool. I hate to diverge out there, but I've talked to you before, and all of a sudden you tell me that, and I'm like, wow. So you can help people. You have people that you can help move here outside, and other people help people move them here. Then,
Correct. And being a national real estate company, we have referral groups inside our company. So I mean, we're growing. We're one of the fastest growing real estate companies in the country. So
cool.
we're always opening offices so we can connect you and find you someone in that area. And I like to talk
Awesome.
to people. If I can't find you someone at our brokerage, I'll find you an agent, that I have a good connection to somewhere else.
But so now I derailed you there. So tell me a little bit about yourself and your background as a
Yeah.
realtor.
So I grew up on the mortgage side. My mom did loans for 30 years. And she said,
Wow.
hey, yeah, yeah. She said, hey, why don't you do this? And I did that for about 6 months and I went, no, this is not me.
Right,
And throughout
right,
the years, then I got into, continuing to do more food and beverage. And after 25 years, I was done with food and beverage. And my mom,
right.
once again, she had a real estate license. So she's had it for about a decade at that point. And she said, hey,
Wow.
why don't you go to the real estate? Now, I've fallen for this once.
Right, right,
And
right.
yeah, that's how I got into it. Went through the real estate school, came out, passed first try on both, and just loved it. And absolutely fell in love with the real estate that side. Not the lending. Those guys earn their keep for sure.
And their keep.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been with it almost 6 years. So I love it.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. There's here lately on the news, there's been some uh like they talk about, it's always a lot of times in the news, the only good news is bad news. So here in the church, because we're based out of Treasure Valley, Idaho, Boise metro area and out. And we've had tremendous growth over the last 4 years. I mean, tremendous growth over the years. And now, there's all these rumblings about, well, better, that's what I brought you on that. But so right now the market says, is it a good time? They kind of infer it might not be a good time to buy because is it a bubble, or we overpriced here in the valley, or what? So what's such a, I mean, is it a good time to buy a home right now? I know
So,
you can always say depend, but I mean,
right. I can say that for anything real estate,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
It depends. So the way I look at it is, as a trend, real estate continually goes up over long periods of time. I don't gauge rates. I don't gauge anything like that. I say, can you make a payment at what it would be now? Have you been in a comfortable job? Are there layoffs coming? Can you make the payment now? And would it be financially prudent for you to do that? Not, we have to stop going to Starbucks every day to afford this. I have to work overtime. If you can afford the payment what it is, I would say now is a good time to buy. Uh, just because your payment, if you get into that 30-year fixed or 15-year fixed, your payment won't change much depending on property taxes, and that's a whole nother thing. But if you're in a rental, your rent can go up every year. And getting into something with ownership over the
Right.
long term, you
Right.
are going to see growth. And
Yeah.
the
And
crystal
here in the
ball, if
valley,
rates go, yeah, yeah,
here in the valley, we know that you know um, rental rates have gone through the roof. I mean, they're more than my mortgage.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I check them all the time. I go, holy smokes, how can people afford to rent?
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
And I'm kind of in that same boat. The people that we kind of feel bad for, or not bad, but the ones that are getting out of college or they're finally established.
Yeah.
But there's so many great programs out there. And if you have a little dedication, you can work and get that down payment. Or right now, sellers aren't putting up a sign and their house isn't flying off the shelf. So you
Right.
have some wiggle room, you have some concessions that the sellers may be willing to make. Some of the builders are doing concessions. So if you can afford that monthly payment comfortably, it's a great time to buy.
Yeah. And I always say that I didn't know it because I was in an industry that was not affected by the 2009-10 era, great recession. And so I bought my house and it's close to 3 times
Yeah. Yeah.
as much right now, So, and again, I love what you say. Of course, it isn't good for everybody right now. If you can't afford the payment, you can't do it. But, and I've heard you talk at some of the meetings before about some of the, there's just, I guess that my takeaway would be come talk to you because until that you talk to that, you don't know what's available. You know what I mean? And so,
Right.
yeah, so that's the key here in the area. Don't let the news scare everybody off because, like you said, because things have slowed down some. Builders are making concessions, like you said, that sellers are making concessions. So, it might be the right time for you right now, or it might not. But why
Right.
not check into it before the housing prices go up again and people worry about the bubble?
Yeah. Yeah. Or you get all those people, I'm going to wait till the market crashes. Okay.
Yeah,
You realize you have investors that have cash. And if it
yeah,
crashes, you're still going to have to get pre-approved. And
yeah.
cash is king. So,
Yeah. That's that. Yeah, that once. I mean, and this is people through people like you. I know this is that. Let's say that all of a sudden the Fed turns around and has this thing. Oh, I'm gonna lower. I'm gonna next month I'm gonna lower interest rates down 2 full points. Right, 2. What would happen?
yeah, we're going to
You'd
go
have a
back to supply
line
and
of
demand.
people. Yep, you'd have a line of people that unless you have a lot of extra cash, and it'd be a bidding war again.
Yeah.
So
We played this
yeah,
game a couple years ago.
yeah. I know,
And,
I
and that
know.
was,
I was here when that game was going on, and again, I was like, thank goodness I bought my house.
yeah.
So for you, what's the perfect client for you?
Anybody that's thinking about buying or even selling, um, that they want more information because every situation is different. There's programs out there for first time buyers, there's programs out there for first responders. There's so many programs, but I would say somebody that's genuinely interested in, can I buy a house? And if not, what do I need to do to buy a house? Maybe it's credit repair, maybe it's looking at certain things. Let's have a discussion. And if it's not right for you, I'll tell you, hey, at this time, but if that's your goal, man, we're going to work together and we're going to get your goal, and we'll achieve it together. So, it,
So
and there
it
are,
just so
yeah,
so when the good clients, the ones for you are the ones who are just open to look at different options.
right. Not the clients that see an ad on Facebook about the house and go, oh, well, that's overpriced, I'm not buying.
Oh,
Well,
okay,
you've been
yeah,
renting for 15 years. You,
yeah,
you passed up many great markets where you could have bought. I don't
yeah,
want those people. And I'll tell you, I don't want
yeah,
you. Now, if you come
yeah,
around and say, hey, I've been renting for 15 years, I can't just keep throwing money away. I would like to get some portfolio going. I'd like to invest in myself. Let's have a conversation.
right. Well, cool. Yeah. Love that. Yeah, I know. There's so many stories about people that I thought there was no hope, whatever, stuff. And then all of a sudden all these different things where, I was even talking to another mortgage broker once, and I think it was on one of the podcasts. And I told him that, he'd mentioned something about asking family members, and I went, you know something? I totally forgot. My first house, I went through the IHA. Is that here in Idaho? What's the
Idaho,
first time
Idaho housing.
yeah, the first time home buyer went
Okay.
through that, and I had to come up with a down payment, and my grandma gave me a couple $1,000. And
Mhm.
so, and I didn't even ask for it. She just said, "Hey, you're buying a house?" I said, "Yeah." And all of a sudden she gave me a stack of $100 bills.
Nice.
I
Nice.
thought that's nice. So anyway, you never know till you ask. So,
Right.
um, so what you like, being as a realtor, what do you think one of your biggest success stories are? Because I mean, there's just, I'm sure there's a million situations where someone looks like there's no possible way they can buy a house.
Yeah. And I have situations like that. People have been waiting for years. We finally get things set up and things like that. But because everything's so different, it's almost like as a parent, I can't pick a favorite kid, right?
Right.
So I
Right.
would say overall, so last year at our brokerage, I actually won an award for the core values. Um, so that's probably my biggest success story. It's just all those little things that we do for the clients that add up, and everybody else around you sees, hey, you're taking care of them. I've had agents tell me, hey, if I wasn't an agent, I would want you to represent me.
Oh,
I
cool.
think that's yeah. So, and that's who I like to work with too, right? The
Yeah.
agents that don't have that ego that, hey, we're all in this together.
Right.
Let's put something together. But the success story is just everybody that I'm able to help, and it just comes together. And I got this nice little award. I was like, all right, thank you, everybody.
Cool.
Oh,
It's awesome. So again, so how do you, I mean, tell more about did you get voted by your other
no, no.
realtors?
So in our brokerage, we have, our broker, our designated broker, the owners, and they watch. They're like parents. They see what we're doing even when we're not doing it, right?
Oh,
And
okay.
and,
Okay.
and so,
Right. Right.
as a group, they come together and they say, here's someone that represents our core values as a
Oh,
company. So if I'm out in public, they're not worried about me doing something that's going to go against that. Or, when it
right.
comes to help people, I am helping those people according to our
Right.
core values.
Cool. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because that's a huge thing, especially when you hear this over and over and over again, but it's true. This is most people's largest investment. And,
Yeah.
if you're buying and selling it, you want to have somebody that's in your corner that has good values, that really cares about you. And so, no, that is, I love that. So, what would you say some of your biggest obstacles you've overcome before, like
Yeah.
as a realtor?
So going back to the buyers, right? Those buyers that
Right,
don't think they can buy because they listen to the news and it's a horrible time
right,
to buy. You can't
right.
afford it. You need 20% down, or the
Yeah,
Dave Ramsey, you need 20% down. And it's like,
yeah,
and then we have a discussion and it's like, okay. In fact, I met a couple that was very big into Dave Ramsey. Nothing against Dave
right,
Ramsey. He's great at getting people
yep,
out of
yep,
debt, doesn't like investments. And
yeah.
we were looking and we got them into a house, but because of the interest rates and how everything played out, they wouldn't have been able to afford a house today had they waited to get that 20% because our market was just climbing so much, they couldn't save fast enough.
Oh,
But what happened, they were able to get into a house, the market was still rising. And then a year and a half later, they were able to refinance when rates were down. And because the market went up, they had so much equity, they were able to lose that mortgage insurance, which is what Dave Ramsey's against.
oh,
So it was a
yep, yep, yep,
win-win. So they were able to get into a
yeah.
house at a payment that was now cheaper than what their rent would be. They have the equity where they're not paying the mortgage insurance. So it's a win-win for them.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it just, yeah, I mean I mean, again, the homes are, you know, I've in my life, I had one home, fourth generation Idahoan, grew up in Boise through Boise State. And then I got to the point where I'm done renting, and I want to buy a house. So I moved to Nampa, and everybody said, "Hey, that's where farmers live. Why are you going to grow there?" Now we're like out of control, crazy
Yeah,
bit years later. But
100,000 people.
yeah, but my first house was 79.9, 26 years ago.
I'll
Yeah,
buy it for 100,
crazy.
Scott.
So no, but I mean, but that it gets into the fact that um I had a builder that told me I didn't need a realtor. I mean, thinking back, this was like just coming up. I'm just thinking of this, because if I wanted one, he's going to charge me more for the house. So he said he'd just negotiate with me on stuff. It was the worst experience of my life. It was so stressful. So I went through that, and then I go to where I'm at right now, and like 6 miles away in Napa. Still live in Napa and stuff. And my neighbor said, "Hey, my niece is a new realtor," and I didn't know any different, right? So I had, and unfortunately, she was just did she way overpriced my house. She never called, no communication or nothing. So I'm your perfect person now, thinking back, that I appreciate someone like you more because I've been through I mean, it's tough enough moving. It's traumatic doing all that moving. For me, I mean, it's one of the worst. I mean, I that's my biggest challenge, is I just hate moving so bad. I moved from 6 miles away and had friends help me, hired crosstown movers, and it still was like traumatic and stuff. So anyway, that just makes me think of how much more it's important to get someone like you to help out. Because I mean, and like you said before too, and you're going to talk about here in a minute too again, is that buying a house, there's going to be, and moving, there's going to be challenges.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you kind of coach your people you work with, your clients, you kind of coach them on that.
Yeah. So when we have our initial consulting meeting, I sit there and I say, hey, on paper, this should go great. But there are going to be times where it's going to be stressful, especially, right now, if you're selling a house and moving into another, there are a lot of moving pieces. Do you need that house to close for the funds to purchase here? So we talk about this. So I would much rather address any issues beforehand than get a call at 11 o'clock at night and I don't know where the power is. I don't know who to call. Who do I turn? So we have that conversation, right? And before we send, let's say we send over an offer, I say, okay, here's your options. They can accept it as it is, they can counter, or they can reject. And then what if they counter? And then we go through. So I walk them through the steps before those steps are needed.
Oh, I love that. Love that. Yep.
Because nobody makes good decisions. If I go, Scott, what's your favorite color? And I don't know. But if I go, hey, think about your favorite color, get back to me in 10, 15 minutes. You're oh,
yeah.
Okay. Then it's not as stressful. I'm not putting you on the spot. And I try to take that stress out of the equation because it is stressful, but we can manage that, right? And especially for a first-time buyer, what's the inspection look like? What's this? This, because like you said, for most people, it's their biggest financial decision they're going to make. So let's treat it like that, right? Let's not look at the dollar signs for people when they come to you. Oh, you're going to buy this house. This is how much I'm going to make. Okay, let's push you into that. Hey, if it's not right, it's not right. Hey, if this isn't working for you, we're out. I work for you. You tell me.
Right.
I have no problem telling the other agent, hey, we're done here because of this, or let's negotiate. So
right. No, I love that the way you say you say that. What were the 3 options again that can happen? Because I can't remember it. Like,
so they can accept it as it is.
If you make an offer.
Yeah.
What are the 3?
So they can accept it as it is. They say, hey, this looks good to us. Everything's good. Okay. Or they can counter it. They can, anything on there. Hey, we don't like the closing date. We don't like the purchase price. Right. We don't like terms. Or they can just flat out reject you.
Okay.
And most of the time, the flat out rejection doesn't come in a market like this, right? Where people are negotiating. So you have one of 2 options. You're getting the house as you wrote it, or you're negotiating, which, I mean, that's like asking somebody out. And they're like, well, so you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah. Cool. I love that. Because it's all about, we haven't been there before and you've been there before many times. So I love the fact that you kind of educate people so they can, because it's just stressful as hell. I mean, I'm looking back and I'm like, I mean, I just don't envy anybody moving. And I also heard about that you've actually helped some of your customers move before.
Oh yeah.
Not going to say my broker all of them, huh?
Don't tell my broker. He doesn't like no.
Yeah. Don't do that. No, but
I'll take hand trucks out. We'll take hand trucks out. We'll unload the truck. We'll grab lunch. Like I always say, I'm your buddy with a license. And what I have to remember, I do this day in and day out.
That really knows what the hell they're talking about when it comes to buying and selling homes.
Yeah. And that's why I'm your buddy. No.
Yeah.
But the thing we have to realize as agents, and this is as a community, We do this every day, every
Yeah.
day. So we can get in that, oh yeah, you just do this, just do that. Oh, you just sign
Yeah.
this counter, you just, and
Yeah.
people look at you. If you tell me, if I go to a mechanic and they go, hey, this is how you change your oil, I'm going to be like,
Yeah.
okay. But if they
Yeah.
say, hey, here's what we're going to need a roller, we're going to get under there.
Yeah.
This is the tool you need. Here's the oil, get it prepared. Yeah, I
Right.
could do it. But you tell me, oh, I do this all the time. It's no problem. Go do it.
Right.
I'm going to be lost. So as agents, we have to take that into consideration. This is our job, and this is what we
Right.
do day in and day out.
Yeah. That's what I love about you. So, hey, I see those two things behind you there, the two people, right?
Yes,
Let me
sir.
guess. One's Helio Gracie, right?
Yes, sir.
With an H, Helio
Yep.
Gracie, and then Pedro Sauer.
Yeah,
Uh, uh, so when it comes in the real estate industry, right? You do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? So
I
tell
do.
people, what is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? People don't know what it is.
Yeah, so I think the easiest way to describe that for people in the States, it's wrestling with chokes and submissions. So joint
Yeah.
manipulations, things like that's the easiest. Instead of saying two people are rolling around trying to make the other person say uncle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Leg
so
locks and chokes. If anybody watches
yeah,
cage fights or UFCs,
right.
once they hit the ground, people are wrestling and doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu most of the time. There's other stuff, but that's the two big mainstays
Yep.
On there. So how does, and you just, congratulations, because you just got your brown belt.
I did.
Wait,
I did.
so congratulations.
Thank you.
And yeah, yeah, like I said, I brought Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu into the Valley by the way of that gentleman up behind you there, Pedro Sauer, back in February of 1994,
Yeah.
right? So that's been quite a while. Hey, but how does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu help you be a better realtor?
Yeah, really good at open houses. No.
Yeah, yeah,
uh, so the thing with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I wrestled for a while. The thing about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, especially being a guy, we have egos. I'm a decent sized guy. I'm over 200 pounds. I can go in and I see someone that's 145 pounds, and they treat me like I don't know what wrestling is, anything like that. So I have to drop that ego and be willing to learn and say, I don't know everything. I've grappled for
right,
years. Like you said, I'm a brown belt. At a certain point, brown belt's up there, right? We're
right,
pushing
yeah,
on black belt's door.
yeah,
But I have to look and go, man, I still don't know anything. So in the
right,
real estate world, I can't take an ego in and talk to the other agent and just let those emotions get in. And well, this is how I've always done it, and this is let me
right,
sit back and go, okay, how can we work this out, and let's figure out a solution. That's the biggest thing, is just not having an ego and being so
right,
tied to a belief that you're right. There's been times where I was like,
yeah,
you were absolutely correct. I was wrong. I apologize. And I have that agent go,
right,
what?
right.
Because
Yeah, yeah,
we hold on to our beliefs so tight that I'm never wrong because it's my way.
yeah,
When you tell somebody I was wrong, I own up to it, I apologize. And if I don't know how to fix it, can you help me fix this? Or, I go to my broker. And luckily, as
yeah,
I go up with jiu-jitsu, my real estate goes up too. So I'm not going to my broker all the time.
yeah, yeah. No, that's great, really, because I've done jujitsu for years and years, and I really, when you talk about the ego thing, I think that's one of the biggest things is it did for me too, and a lot of people in the area. Uh, uh, it really helped us like be more humble, right? Because it just won't get too much into it, but you're going full out trying to make people tap out and stuff like that, and then you get done and you shake each other's hands.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
and it's just your friends that are trying to help each other improve, and then the ego thing, that's the big thing I love about the jiu-jitsu, because over the years, we've seen people that big strong guys come in, muscle huge guys, and little teeny guys that weigh 140 pounds, wipe the mat with them, make them tap out, and which makes the bigger person more humble.
Right. Hopefully that's
And
the goal, right?
yeah, yeah, I mean,
Or
for
they
the
just
most
throw them out
part.
and leave.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I can say, but for the most part, that's actually over the
Yeah.
years that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu really does help people be a lot more respectful, professional, and confident, because it's just day in and day out, the adversity of going against people, but it's fun too. But it's competition and stuff. But anyway, that's great. Well,
Yeah.
hey, I love this. This has been great, Ben. I'm sure some of this information will help people, especially with a lot of the information right now that's going out there about, and again, yes, it might not be the right time for you, but also it could be.
Right. Let's have a
So
conversation.
rather than just going for the bad news, go to someone like Ben and talk to him. So, and that segues right into, so what's the best way for someone to get a hold of you, Ben?
Yeah, cell phone, 208-880-1724. Shoot me a text, give me a call. I return calls or texts within 2 hours if it's before 8:30, Monday through Saturday. Sundays, I cut that off at 5 o'clock. But unless we're getting you a house, then my hours change a little bit. But
then the hours change, but that's great though.
right.
Well, perfect. This has been another episode of Treasure Valley NIA Quick Tips, and appreciate everybody. And until the next episode, thanks everybody.